What's up YouTube, Flip Method here, and this is Valkryie Anatomia, and today we're going to go over the new Silmeria Abel Banner. Now, I apologize for the video quality, but I am currently on vacation, and they dropped this new banner on me, but we got to get this content out, so bear with me for any little audio glitches or lowered video quality, but I'm not able to do any video editing or cool little effects or anything. I'm just recording straight from my phone. Okay, but let's jump right into this banner. So we have Silmeria Abel, or Abel, the new characters in here. So I'm going to look at it kind of in the reverse order. So we're going to look at Abel first. Okay, so Abel is an archer. His Japanese name was Albert. Not really sure why they changed that, but let's move on. He's an archer. To look at the character from the Archer Gacha pool, we're going to have to compare him to Rufus. Rufus at a level 99 has a base physical attack and magical attack stat of 956 and 927. Okay? So they're not quite 950, leveling around that area, but at level 99, this guy, Abel, has a physical attack of 1124 and a magic attack of 1224. Now, as we can see, Abel is a hybrid damage dealer, so he needs both of those stats. But he's getting way higher than Rufus. Again, Rufus is around 950, and this guy is around 1100, 1200. That's significantly more damage. Though this guy does have incredibly lower physical defense. But this guy has draw or fewer enemy attacks. So if he has this leveled up, and you have another character in your party, like say Klaus, who's drawing enemy attacks with his runes, then this guy's probably not going to get hit. So you'd be fine. Only the AoE hits would really hit him. So you wouldn't have to worry about, unless you're fighting a boss with AoE attacks, his defense as much. In which case you could just bring in tankier characters again, like Klaus. So he does have that huge jump in his attack power. Okay. Rufus has his runes that are separate. Increase magic, increase attack. Abel has resolve and force instead, which is increase magic and attack at the start of each of your turns, as opposed to having them on two different rune sets. He has them on one rune set, so it's combined. That way he can make room for his camouflage mechanic, which is the draw or fewer enemy attacks. So yeah, he does have significantly lower physical defense, but we already covered how we can get around that. Make him a little bit better. He's a dark-based user. So as a dark-based bow user, you would compare him to similar to like Nachi, but if you miss Nachi, now you can get your dark-based bow user in the gacha pool. So should you pull for Abel? If you don't have, say, Rufus, and you want a harder-hitting bow user, he's your guy. And if you do have Rufus and you just want that increased damage, he's your guy. So if you just want a harder hitting bow user, then he's great. But that's all he's really bringing to the table, is he's just hitting a lot harder. But if you do combine him with characters like Klaus, again, then Klaus has draw attacks and also heal when he guards. So Klaus is going to get hit, he's going to guard, he's going to heal. This guy has draw or few enemy attacks, so he's going to make sure that Klaus is going to get hit. It's just, he combos really well. And that is Abel. So if you want to up your DPS on your bow user, he's worth pulling for. But if that's not something that you really need right now, then, you can skip him. We have Silmeria. Silmeria, the star of Valkyrie Profile 2. The game's named after her. Valkyrie Profile 2, Silmeria 2. This isn't the first time we've seen Silmeria in the game. We actually see her in Alicia, because Alicia's her human form, but this is the first time we've actually seen the Valkyrie Silmeria. She can go in the Valkyrie slot, much like Alicia. She gets her purification attack with Nibelung Valesti. But to compare her to the Valkyrie slot, slot 1, that front character in the party, we're going to have to look at Future Lenneth, otherwise known as Lenneth F in this game, who was a free character that you could get. I don't believe that her banner's up anymore. I will verify that real quick, but I do not believe you can still get Lenneth F. Yeah, not there anymore. Okay. So let's go back to looking at Silmeria. Okay. So the only other Valkyrie slot we have is Lenneth F. So she has higher base stats than Lenneth F, which is great. She doesn't get anywhere near the attack or magical attack that Abel has, but she's still pretty high. She is higher than the 950 and 927 for magical and physical attack that Rufus has. Well, not higher than the magic, but she's still a hybrid. So he is a little bit better for a 9 Harrier for DPS, but she's in the Valkyrie slot, so she's unique for that. She does have higher DPS for against compared to Lenneth F, though, or Future Lenneth. But where she differs from Future Lenneth is, and her being in the Gacha pool, actually, is in her rune kit. So I'm just going to read this off real quick. Silmeria is more of a strong DPS Valkyrie with little to no, I'm sorry. She has extremely light defensive runes. She doesn't have very many defensive runes, okay? Whereas Lenneth F has a critical hit rate increase, self buffs for stats, and she boosts the purification gauge meter when she's damaged. Okay? So again, Lenneth F boosts the critical hit rate chance. So the chance that you're going to hit for a critical attack and do more damage on your each hit. She can self-buff herself for 16%. And she can boost the purification gauge meter, and so it can go up and you can do those purifications whenever Lenneth F gets damaged. Now Silmeria, we can see her runes here, she can increase the critical hit damage, not the chance, but whenever she does critical, it's going to hurt more. So we can get critical hit rate up from orbs, and combine that with this, where we get critical hit damage by 10%, and she's just dealing more damage. She also has the same exact buff that Lenneth does, which is improve all abilities by 16% when at the start of your turn the purification is level 1 or higher. That's the same exact buff. That's the divine buff. But her real difference, the real difference in her is whereas Lenneth boosts the purification gauge, so it just goes up higher whenever she gets damaged, Silmeria has Holy Rebellion, which greatly increases her damage dealt when you're below 40%. Which, if your party's in that dire need, you're below 40%, you might not survive the turn afterwards. She buffs herself up so high that you'll probably get the kill, and you'll snake out of there, which is fantastic. But personally, I don't like to live on the edge like that. I like to know that I'm going in for the kill. So Silmeria, let's say if you have the nostalgia for her, if you're a Valkyrie Profile 2 fan, she's worth going for. But we have so many other Valkyries in the slot that do so many similar things. Silmeria, for me, is a skip. She doesn't do that much higher damage. She's not bringing that much more to the table other than a little bit more critical hit. And she boosts damage whenever she goes to a dangerous level, which I don't like being at the dangerous level anyways. But if you often ride that line, then she's perfect for you. She's a hybrid damage dealer because she's a bow user, and she does do her purification, which is the Nibelung Valesti. Excuse me 1 second. Throat got a little dry there. And it just physical damage to all enemies, and it's a high damaging skill. It's a high damaging because, you know, it's Nibelung Valesti. It couldn't be a weak skill, right? So that is Silmeria and Abel. Their weapons, you know, pretty classic. Invite Abyss and Cure Bloom, you know, they're all right. You're going to have better bows out of the gacha pool, out of the actual weapons pool. So if you were actually just pulling, you know, weapons out of, like, I mean, this is the sword banner, for instance, but if you were pulling weapons out of here, then you would get much better weapons, if that was the bow one, for instance, than you would out of using artifacts. But, so, Abel, he's worth it. He's worth it. He's a significantly high damage dealer. Does a lot more damage than Rufus. Works better with team comps, with tanky characters. And he has all his skills consolidated. And he's also elemental, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. You know, maybe the enemy's dark resistant. But I oftentimes find, at least with a lot of the content we've been getting recently, that the enemies have been dark weak. So he would have been beneficial last week, you know, that kind of thing. So looking forward, it's going to be great for us. And whenever it's, you know, doesn't have any elemental weakness, he's fantastic. Because he just has that gigantically high physical and magical attack numbers. So Abel, he's the winner on this banner. Silmeria, she's alright, you know? But for me, worth skipping. I hope this video helped you guys out, make a decision a little bit easier, and whether or not to pull on the Silmeria and Abel banner. And I hope you guys get everything that you want. Much love, and peace.